get so many calls. I mean, among our listening audience and viewing audience every day about people concerned about this Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is the latest in the trade deals or proposed, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That started with NAFTA.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Are any of them good? I mean, what's? I mean, we do live in a global economy. We have to compete globally. So,
yes.
Don't we need these trade deals?
We need to trade, and trade is good and can be economically beneficial on many fronts. We don't need trade deals that are on this model. This is starting with NAFTA. It's a very specific trade model, which goes far beyond just reducing tariffs to make goods cheaper as they cross from one country into another country. And it sets a whole series of rules that basically sort of box in the policy space of each country. And so you can regulate, but only up to this level and only so far. And that's the part that can be really damaging and potentially increase the dangers in terms of consumer product safety or food safety or workplace safety when corporations come in and try and take advantage of these constrictions and go to a country and challenge a law or regulation and say, that's too far, you've now violated a trade obligation.
So, but there's also only so much we can do when we're dealing with another country, right? I mean, we want the wages there to be higher, but we can't force them to pay $10.10 an hour, or or $15 an hour, whatever we want it to be, right? We want them not to be polluting their rivers and their air, but we can't force them to do it, right? Aren't there some?
That's true. And I think in terms of wages, the best thing that we can do for wages in other countries is to really make sure that each country upholds its obligations as a member of the International Labor Organization, which is an arm of the UN, and says these are universal freedoms. Everyone is sort of very familiar with human rights. There's a universal freedom of speech and a universal right to assemble and protest. Well, these apply in the workplace too, and workers have a universal right called freedom of association to form a union. And even if workers in low-wage countries have this right and it's defended by their government, they can get together and, maybe they won't raise their wages to U.S. levels, but that's fine. They can raise their wages to an appropriate level for their country and their economy. And that's what will empower workers and really give us a better level playing field globally.
And are there environmental standards included as well?
In trade agreements, the U.S. has gone from basically no environmental standards in the NAFTA. There was this ineffective, unenforceable side agreement to better and better standards as it's been with labor. But so far, neither is to a place where it's really effective at defending the environment or defending workers or at offsetting the sort of limitations that's in all the rest of the agreements. So they say that TPP is going to have 29 chapters. Well, there'll be one chapter that's designed to protect workers, one chapter that's designed to protect the environment, a chapter on tariffs, and then the rest of it is sort of corporate rights and benefits.
Oh, yeah, a little one-sided, shall we say, right? All right, so the President Obama really wants this. So he wants what's called fast-track authority, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, which basically gives him a free hand almost in making these trade deals. Is that
pretty much? And that's the problem.
That's
with
what
it.
he wants for the TPP.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and the bill that's been introduced in the House and the Senate would give whoever's the president for the next 4 years the ability to bring back any completed trade agreement and have that agreement fall under fast-track authority. And that means fast-track authority means Congress has to move it in a specified period of time, no amendments, limited debate. And what we found in practice is that the World Trade Organization moved under fast-track rules, NAFTA moved under fast-track rules, and all of these trade deals could have been significantly improved. But Congress never had an opportunity to really say this doesn't meet our standards. You have to go back to the negotiating table.
So President Obama, I know he's been pushing for this. It's a top priority for him. Yesterday, Majority Leader Harry Reid indicated he has a different approach, maybe, huh? So
He did. He said that he doesn't like fast track, and that
Basically said forget about it, huh?
pretty much. I mean, there was some equivocation. Now's not the right time to pass it, but it's great to have a leader like Harry Reid speak up, because he's traditionally been really good on trade, recognizing that we need it. He needs it for his state. I mean, tourism is a form of trade, but the rules matter, and how workers and communities and the environment and family farms can benefit really matter. And he has stood up for a fair trade agenda, and it's great to have him say, look, this is wrong. We need to do it better.
Which one would think, right, that means it's not going to happen this year.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Senator Baucus, who's the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee and the chief sponsor of the bill that's been introduced, is going to be leaving at some point to go be our new ambassador to China. And so the new chair of that committee, who's presumptively Senator Wyden of Oregon, he may introduce his own version of a fast track bill. And so we may have to go through this again. And obviously there needs to be some way for a president to negotiate trade agreements, but the model of fast track doesn't allow enough public input, doesn't allow enough public scrutiny, and isn't the right model.
Fast track, TPP, here's your chance, 866-55-PRESS with Celeste Drake from the AFL-CIO. Now, here's what I find fascinating about this whole issue, which reflected in an article in The Hill this morning. I told you about my column in The Hill, which we have tweeted out, Peter? Or
yes, indeed. We have indeed.
Today, talking about Henry Waxman and George Miller. This is a news article in The Hill, and the headline, right on what we're talking about, says, get this, Tea Party members team with union leaders to fight Obama's trade plan. Tea Party teams with union leaders to fight Obama's trade plan. So this is something on which the left and the right have come together? Really?
I would say we're working in parallel more than we're working together.
You haven't joined forces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, we welcome all voices that are critical of fast track and that would help us achieve something different. And I think the issue for those on the right seem to care more about the process, which, as I explained, it's not a very democratic process. We're concerned about the process, but also the content, that these agreements have killed jobs and not really been great for anything else for the 99%. It sort of shows the ridiculousness of the labels left and right, because in the end, Tea Party voters, I think they want jobs, they want clean environment, they want to have protect family farms. And so, maybe this, where we're working in parallel, is an opportunity for some folks who may have succumbed to the anti-union rhetoric to say, wait a minute, these guys are fighting for me and for my job too. So,
yeah, that would be really nice if that came out of this as a benefit.
That's kind of idealistic, but
for the time being, make a pact with the devil to stop this thing. Why not?